right. Sorry for the delay there. Just had a little technical difficulty with my coffee. But it is Friday, August 7th, 10:05 a.m. Time for baseball and coffee. It's hot in here. Hot today. Anyway, hope everybody's good. Doing well. A lot of stuff going on in and around baseball. And we'll get going and we'll figure it out. Let's see what we got going on in the chat to start off today. A lot of good mornings to everybody. What's up, Pops? Game of the year last night. I say, yeah. I mean, I watched most of it. Man, Red Sox and the White Sox. Red Sox basically refused to lose. They were within one strike of losing, I think, a couple times, but they did amazing. So they are really rolling. They're incredible. Cease is also on an incredible run right now. Probably watch that. I want to look into Freddy Peralta a little bit at some point on the show. I have to talk about him on MLB Now, so I should probably study up just a little bit more and see what I think. But yeah, I would put Cease right now. I think he's edging Schlittler at the moment, but you know, this is all very close, so we'll see how it goes. What else we got here? Jays were 1 for 19 with runners in scoring position. That's tough, really tough. What's up, Grounds Crew? My stat of the day, 219 relievers with a save so far, on pace to shatter the record for most players with a save since 2023. So here's my thought on that. Like, two things can be true at once. Number one, closing's not as hard as it seems. It's actually not that hard of a job in general, but you have to have somebody in there that can deal with failing, because it's the worst kind of failure when you fail as a closer. And then the other thing I was going to mention is that teams function better with a set closer, typically. It's great to do the mixing and matching when need be, but generally winning teams have it figured out. So that's my opinion on that. All right, what else we got here? Boston has the mojo and vibes. They're only a half game behind the Yankees, so they definitely have the vibes for possibly the whole division at this point. Adam, I'm a diehard Mets fan. I love through Wilpons. Is Cohen the right man? I think Cohen's the right man, but it's gonna definitely. I mean, I don't think they're in as good a spot right now as they were a couple years ago, which is disappointing. Love hearing your takes when you're in the ESPN Broadcast Brewers fan. Appreciate it. Your team is amazing, really fun to watch. I've been a hater for a long time, but no more. I love Pat Murphy. I love what you guys are doing. Is Sonny Gray not in the Cy Young talks? He's been unreal. You know, that's a good question. I bet he's definitely in the votes getting territory. He's right in there. Hey, Adam, you think the Mets keep up the winning into this Pittsburgh series? I mean, I have no way of knowing. Sometimes you get the, what's it called? The dead cat bounce. I saw Anthony DiComo talking about that yesterday. A little bit of a bounce back. But they have a long way to go. So. You're not wearing a hat on the stream. This is strange. I can wear a hat if you want. But I have to do a lot of TV today. I guess I have to... I have so much today. I already was on JD Bunkus this morning in Toronto. Great dude. Love talking shop with JD. Now I'm doing our show. Then I got MLB Now. And then I got Yankees pre and post tonight. And then tomorrow's Old Timers Day. So we got a lot going on right now. Did I ever go over Nolan McLean? I didn't watch him yet. Boston's cheating. You know what I was thinking about? This is so stupid. I was so stupid, but I try to think of a parallel between, like, because somebody was like, they need to extend Tracy. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But then I was thinking, like, in a Boston context, it's like, is he the Tom Brady figure? The guy that nobody saw coming? That maybe becomes a legendary manager? I don't know. I just romanticized that in my head. For some reason. The D1000 Durbinator. This guy's awesome. And, you know, Pat Murphy was raving about him when we had our manager meeting the other day. Durbin said, guy's just a winner. So. How can I find EV and launch angle on Rock Chalowski's home runs? I've been looking. It depends on what league they're in. Not every league has that data available, publicly available. All right, let me do a few more and then we'll get into the standings. Do you think the Mets trade Lindor this offseason? No. Does Bo Bichette opt in? I would say yes. I mean, he's not playing good enough to crush it on the market. I didn't watch Christopher Oh, what did I just do? I think I just accidentally blocked somebody. I don't know how I did that. Sorry if I did that. What else we got here? Thoughts on Job return for the Tigers? Could be good. Big fan of him. Love his changeup. Love his stuff. We'll see how he looks coming off the shelf. Haven't watched him yet. Troy Melton, I think that's a tremendous piece. It's part of the reason why I think the Tigers can still do this without Mize, without Skubal. I think they can still do it in the Central. So we'll see. Do you think Emerson Hancock will sustain his success over the next few years? That's a good question. He's been pretty good this year. He switched up to more of a four-seam style, kind of cut his fastball. He continues to move it around, low arm slot, even lower arm slot now than ever before. Right now he's at 12 degrees. Last year he was at 18, 27 just 2 years ago. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. So he's gotten way lower. I don't know. Be interesting. He hasn't been as great lately. He's been more mid than great lately, but he's a good player. He's a good player. He's got a good pedigree from the beginning. It'll be interesting to see. Do you sell high on a guy like Emerson Hancock? That's why it made sense to me at the deadline to sell high maybe on him. You know, you got Cade Anderson knocking the door down anyway. You have to kind of pick between some of these guys. You know, Kirby, Miller, Hancock, etc. Kind of figure out where you're at. So I say all that to say is I actually don't know if he can sustain it or not. I really have no idea. But I don't think he's a number one or anything. I think he's a solid contributor. Number three, maybe that's great, but I don't think he's a number one. All right, what else we got here? I think I accidentally did, but I'm not actually sure. I was like trying to click his comment, and then something, like a weird thing came up that I've never seen before. What's your opinion on Adrian Morejon? Love Adrian Morejon. I think he's great. This is one of the guys I wanted the Yankees to get. I was calling for them to get a killer. I mean, look at these numbers. This guy's a beast. Last year he threw 75 games. He can pitch multi-inning. He's got like a knuckleball grip changeup thing that's kind of crazy. How was the Brewers pitching? Always amazing. You know, they got some stuff, guys, but they seem to be very good at making the subtle adjustment. What the stuff they did with Harrison, just moving him over, figuring out the right lane for his fastball to play with his slurve. It was really smart and really simple. Will Cade Anderson get called up after the August 14th deadline? I'd be stunned if he doesn't get called up in general. Paul Blackburn has had a negative WAR basically every year of his career, but this year he has found it. What did he find? Velocity for one. I like Paulie. He's a good pitcher. He knows how to pitch. You know, he's been a back of the rotation type of guy. You know, whether it goes back to Oakland or his time with the Mets when we were teammates. But the biggest thing is probably just velocity. He's at 94.3 this year. Last year, he averaged 92.6, and then even slower than that going a little further back, 91.6, 91.8. So this was like a 91, 92 mile an hour guy. At times even under 90 if you go further back. Yeah, under 90 when he first was coming up, right? Like, that's just not impressive. But when you already have good pitchability and, you know, good stuff, he's got good stuff, like good shapes. He's got distinct shapes you can see. He does a little bit of everything here. He's got pretty good depth on the curveball and the sweeper. He's got good, you know, he's got a good mix of all three movements to the right, all three fastballs plus the changeup. Like, so he's got pitchability and feel, and now he's just got better stuff. I mean, anytime that you already know how to pitch, but then you throw 2 miles an hour harder, you usually pitch way better. It's such a force multiplier. So that's what I think. It's just mainly velo. Yankees are good at developing that. And trusting him. You know, a lot of teams would have never really trusted him in leverage. The Yankees are like, hey, we like what you're doing. Do you think Will Warren has a potential Michael King ceiling? I think they're similar. Kinger, maybe a little more deceptive, naturally deceptive due to the rotational nature of his delivery. But I think they're more similar than not. I would agree with that. Do you think Cease will win Cy Young over Schlittler? I have him slightly edging Schlittler right now, which is saying a lot. That's how good Cease has been lately. But there's a lot of baseball to be played. What's up, Day? Yeah, we'll watch some Cubs Jays here in a minute. Yeah, I see this comment by you, Pat, about Hancock's motor preference changing. I don't have enough info on that, but that makes sense. River Ryan got to be soon, right? I think Dustin May can make a difference for the Brewers, not just an innings eater the rest of the year. You gotta put a lot of trust in the Brewers pitching infrastructure with Hook over there. Dustin May's always been so tantalizing. He's got crazy spin ability. He's got velocity. He's got a lot of things going. So they're getting a nice big fat piece of clay that they get to mold here. I wouldn't expect any jump up in performance right away, but he's been more than serviceable this year. He's been fine. You're just looking for a good run. So they'll try to make some tweaks, but nothing big that'll throw him off. And we'll see what they come up with. Four-seam cutter, sweeper, sinker, change. Maybe it's less cutter. I don't know. What we got on run values this year for Dustin May? Sweeper hasn't been great. Changeup hasn't been great. Curveball hasn't been great. Cutter's got a 306 batting average, even though it has a 4 run value. I find that very interesting to me. So I don't know. They'll mix and match. I haven't watched a ton of Dustin May. If he pitches great, we'll be sure to check in on him. All right, I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit. They tweaked May's pitcher angle already. They moved him a little bit. Yo, Adam, how do you feel about the Twins drafting Von Lackey? He was one of my favorites in the draft, no doubt. No doubt. All right, let's move forward. Let's start with the standings. And then we'll see where we want to go from there. So let's reload the old standings page here. Get us to Friday. All right. Friday, August 7th in the major leagues. Tampa Bay Rays 4.5 up. They've won 3 in a row. They are in Seattle. The Yankees are chasing, and Red Sox are chasing now. 4.5 and 5 back, respectively. It's a decent gap, but plenty of time. I don't think the Tampa has anything locked up at this point. That should be a good race the rest of the way. It's funny. The Orioles are 1 back, but they feel not great. Blue Jays played a good game yesterday and still found a way to lose it at the end. They're only 3.5 out, but they're way under. Like, this just continues. This expanded playoffs really skews things. My wife says they want a shout out. Hey, Brett. Hey, Davis. Love you guys. I saw Davis's comment. I put it up for a minute. All right. AL Central, White Sox 3 up. They did lose their last 3. They're playing Cleveland. Minnesota and Cleveland are chasing, as well as Detroit. Actually, all 3 of those teams are really bunched together, about 2 or 3 under 500. I don't know what to make of that division. I don't have any faith in those teams in the postseason, really, but I could see any of those teams winning that division, including Detroit, and they're in 4th. AL West, Houston Astros 1.5 up on Texas. Seattle's 3 back. This division's pissing me off. All right, NL East, Braves win again, 8 in a row. Now that, they didn't play yesterday, but they start their series in New York tonight, so I'll get to see those guys tomorrow at Old Timers Day. They're 8.5 up on the Phillies, who have not played good baseball. We'll see. Central, Brewers 5.5 up. They've won 3 in a row. Cubs are playing great. They've won 4 in a row. Wow, Adam, you have no faith in my Twins. I don't. I'm sorry. I wanted to, and I'm glad you guys are going for it and competing. I just don't think you have enough pitching. I like the lineup. Royce Lewis looks great, but I don't. I'm sorry. I don't believe in them that much. I just don't. Cardinals 3.5 back in the wild card. They're kind of fading out, like I mentioned. And it's funny. The Reds actually passed the Pirates. They've won 4 in a row. I can't take the Reds seriously, though. West, we know about the Dodgers. They lost to 6 in a row. They start now in Arizona, which is always an interesting place for the Dodgers. they play home games when they go to Arizona, essentially. They take over that stadium. So that should be an interesting weekend. Diamondbacks have played good baseball in general, and the Padres, they're in a feud, I mentioned, all the way to the finish. And you can really see it in the wild card standings. Plenty of time to go, but you can't count Toronto out in the AL. So that means there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams who are chasing, who legitimately feel that they have a shot in the American League. And in the National League, that's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 that feel like they have a shot in that league. So this expanded playoffs, if nothing else, it does make for a very interesting stretch run. And we'll see what that looks like. All right, baseball and coffee. Coffee cups, Meidroth, man, poor guy played a great game. They lost anyway. 3 for 5, 2 home runs. Acuna, 2 home run day. Dingler, 3 for 6 with a pump. A lot of crazy performances yesterday. 2 4-hit days. Kirk and Dubon. Pitchers, Cease, of course. Framber was great. Abbott snuck onto the list here. Dustin May in his Brewers debut. Peterson's been solid for the Cubbies since getting over there. Erik Miller with good relief work. There was a lot of good relief work in this game last night between the two Sox teams, the White Sox and the Red Sox. Bello been tremendous in relief, pitching in high leverage last night, and extra innings on short rest. So a lot of fun stuff from baseball last night. We'll see what we want to watch. I did mention I do want to watch Freddy Peralta at some point. Here's our prospects really quick. Walker Jenkins, 2-homer night. Mike Sirota, 3 for 3. Let's go. He's all the way up to number 11 on the list. Holy cow. Michael Arroyo, 1 for 4. Zaire Hope. Welcome to the Tigers. Home run. Cooper Ingle. Bunch of home runs from prospects. I guess that's why they're prospects. Pitchers. Liam Doyle in Double-A, 4 1/3, 8 punchies. Cam Caminiti did not get traded, which I had been predicting. Elmer Rodriguez, Nolan Perry round out the prospect watching. Solo shot. Who's pitching for the Brewers tonight, Adam? I don't know. Is it Miz? Is it Miz? Who pitches tonight for the Brewers? Let's see. It's Drowan. Zebby Matthews and Drowan. All right, let's not bury the lead. We should probably watch some Dylan Cease. He is the leader in the clubhouse for... I don't even know why I say clubhouse. They have plenty of golf to play, plenty of baseball to play, plenty of pitches to make. But I think he's edging, and yes, edging Schlittler at the moment. He's now at 21 starts, 2.28 ERA, 126 and a third, 184 strikeouts, 1.04 whip. As for Cam, because this is a 2-horse race, I know Sonny Gray has got an interesting case as well. Cam's got 139 and 2/3, so he's ahead of him by about 15 innings in 3 starts. But it's not a huge enough gap to take away the disparity in like some of the style points, like the strikeouts. I mean, Cease is running a 36.4% strikeout rate. Schlittler's at 30. It's going to be a sprint to the finish. The ERAs are about the same. It's going to be a sprint to the finish. I say all that to say that, but I have Cease slightly ahead of him, mainly just from style points and from recency bias. He's been way better lately. Schlittler had a rough one, his last one versus the Cardinals. All right, here was the game yesterday. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 10 Ks in Wrigley, 104 pitches, an original Cub, Dylan Cease. Here's the breakdown. 40 heaters, 32 sliders. So it's still the primary pitch. It is what he does. But he's added just enough of this other stuff to stop being so predictable and to overexpose him. 11 changeups, 9 knuckle curves, 8 sweepers, 4 sinkers. His velo was down quite a bit yesterday, but down for him is still 96. He didn't have a particularly great whiff day, and yet he rolled through them. So I'm curious how easy this was, because I didn't watch a ton of it, but he had 10 strikeouts without a ton of whiff. So is there some freezing going on? Like, what kind of level are we pitching at right now, Dylan Cease? Let's find out, because he's been unbelievably impressive this season. All right, first up, PCA. Oh, yeah, and I'm well aware of Sonny's wins. That's why I think Sonny's on the radar, but, I mean, wins don't. If you look at it in every other way, they don't really equate. All right, so hold on, I missed it. Called strike first pitch to PCA. because you really got to lock in on PCA at bats. Interesting that he didn't try to ambush Cease, though, like he did Lauer for the home run the other day. Fastball up and away ball, and now right to the slide ball. I mean strike, and now to the slide ball. And we'll try that one again. Pretty good pitch to hit, but PCA was out front a little bit. One up, one down. And now we have Seiya, a little dotted slider on the corner. The other thing about Cease that I love is just the durability factor. Like, he did hit the IL for the first time this year, but it was brief. And he's the one guy that they don't really care if he throws over 100, 110 every time, because he's proven that he can bounce back, you know? So the durability factor is huge. Sipping my coffee, watching you talk ball. Appreciate it. TP Tunnel Vision. Jays know how to take stuff, guys, and teach them how to pitch. It's crazy. We were just talking about that on JD Bunkus' pod this morning. He pointed out a number of good examples. Gausman, Robbie Ray, Varland, you're pointing out right here, and now Soriano, as he gets a rollover here on a slider. Very well located away. Good target here by Kirk, getting him off the plate away. And good play by Ernie to kind of, no panic there. And now here's Bush, going to start him with the curveball. Ooh. That might have been a strike. Nope, just a bit high. Ball one. Anyway, I don't know. I just think they have certainly a good track record right now. Not to say that I know necessarily what the secret sauce is, but it's pretty rare I watch a Blue Jays pitcher and I think their style for what they do makes no sense. Like, for the most part, it makes a lot of sense and it feels pretty damn dialed and optimized. So you got to give Pete Walker and crew, and really they're scouting a lot of credit too. I mean, Spencer Miles. That's a gem right there. They pick up Spencer Miles. The guy's been awesome, and he might be a starter for them moving forward. So, ooh, that was weird. Cease's last pitch right here, his delivery was off. Watch the stride. He just cuts himself off weird to try to get over the curveball and doesn't get it. But I think their scouting department's done a nice job. I was curious to watch Ponce pitch until he blew his leg out. What they've had the big issue with is the injuries. You know, you look at Barrios, Scherzer, Bieber. That's really hurt this team. But yeah, the track record's been pretty good. You even go back a few more years. Like Taijuan Walker came back to life with the Blue Jays. Steven Matz came back to life with the Blue Jays. So there's a lot of names to look at. And one thing that's pretty apparent to me is that Pete Walker knows the game, man. He knows how to pitch. He's got a great feel for strategy and keeping it simple. All right, this was kind of a weird one. Bregman's trying really hard not to chase the fastball up. This ball pops, looks like it's coming up and in, and then it nestles in because it's a slider. So this is kind of a happy accident for Cease. They do have Savage with the meniscus, which sucks. But if you think about it like this, they open next year. And not to say this year's over, because it's not, but you think about moving forward now that they've gotten rid of Gauzy. You know, it's Cease, it's Savage, it's Soriano. That's not a bad place to start. You don't have to chase as hard in free agency. So we'll see. Jays have such a good team on paper. Crazy to see them in last place. Well, look, I mean, Vlad has got a 6-something OPS. There's no way that's not worth 5 wins if he just has 20 more home runs, which is what he should have, right? It's crazy to me. And if you told me going into the season that Dylan Cease was going to be Cy Young good, which I had my doubts, and that they were going to find Spencer Miles, and that Okamoto was going to be serviceable as a rookie, you know, and that Tyler Rogers was going to be in midseason form the whole year, I would have told you this team is winning the division. And instead, they might be on the outside looking in. So it's been a really tough year for Jays fans.
It's going to be really fun to be a part of this. I'm a dude. Like, who was your guy as a kid? Oh, yeah. I mean, Braves were the...
Ooh, a dotted slider away here to Nico. So he did get a bunch of strikeouts looking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Braves were the...
And, you know, the Cubs are trying to do a really good job of not chasing Cease. I'm sure that their experience facing Cease in the past was that the only way he's going to strike you out is if you leave the strike zone or he beats you with a fastball. So I'm sure that was the team approach, but the difference is right now, Dylan Cease's command is really cleaned up, and he's throwing a lot of perfect pitches. Like, that's a perfect dot. So really good first 2 innings. We're on to the third. Here's Michael Conforto. Yeah, just a really anemic offense this year from the Blue Jays. But it doesn't function without Vlad. And, you know, Springer was really bad early, and those guys were both historically great last year. That's a lot to overcome. A lot to overcome. This is another really good pitch. Even though it's a basic out, just the fact that he keeps it so brilliantly on the corner, even in a 1-0 count. His command has really gotten good. All right, here's Dansby. Known ambusher. Ball 1. Who do you think is the Cy Young favorite so far? I think it's slightly to Cease, but it's pretty close between him and Schlittler. Pretty close. Remember when you broke down Savage's delivery and the almost hyperextension his left knee experienced every pitch isn't really surprising. Yeah, I mean, the lead leg is a big deal. I had left knee pain. It was patella. I didn't tear my meniscus or anything like that in my career, but if you can't have a stable lead leg to land on and to block and to transfer that energy, this is a really good location again. He was down velocity-wise, but you see when he has command like this, it doesn't matter. It's a perfect pitch. Yeah, you're out. So anyway, that lead leg's important. Savage does throw on the brakes really hard with his short stride as he comes way over the top. So it's not terribly surprising, but that rehab's going to have to be very well executed because he's still going to ram on that knee when he comes back. I promise you that. I haven't talked Sox yet. Three balls, no strikes. C steals. All right, so there's a 4-pitch walk, kind of out of the blue. 2 out, nobody on, 4-pitch walk, which was really dangerous because that brings up PCA. Can't figure out why PCA, what he's hunting 0-0, because he got 2 very hittable fastballs for him, each at bat, middle-ish. Like this one's a little up and in, and he doesn't have any intention of swinging at either of them, and I think that was a missed opportunity for him, so maybe he was sitting on some off-speed early. I think PCA is probably having such a good year. Yeah, see, he tries to go after that curveball. I think he was looking for off-speed. PCA is probably having the type of year where he senses fear from every pitcher, so he looks for off-speed, which is a good strategy and a great place to be as a hitter. Anyway, that's foul. Now it's 0-2. Fastball up. Good location, no swing. He could go a lot off of that. He could double up on that. He could go slider, back foot off of that. He could go curveball off of that. He could go change up away off of that. He's got every option off of that as long as he commands it. Let's see what he goes with. Change up. Yep, change up away off of up and in. You're going to run out of bat. What's crazy is that ends up being an accidental front door changeup for Freeze. So I wondered how he got all these strikeout without the whiff. And he's got these guys in their head. Clearly they had some expectation of how this game was going to go with 2 strikes, and they've been wrong, and they all just punch out. And you can see PCA is disgusted with himself. He had 2 pitches to hit in this at-bat. Yeah, don't blame you. All right, 4th inning. Seiya Suzuki.
They have changed that rule.
Yes.
They give you a little more room.
As Cease always short-arms his throws like this. As long as I've been watching him pitch, yes. Cease's command locks in with a couple ticks less of velo. Skeens has been the opposite, where his conscious efforts to throw at 80% to go deeper in the games has really hurt his command. I think that's a talking point. I don't think he's consciously trying to throw slower. I think Skeens' delivery is off. I think the timing in his delivery is off. It was clear as day that his command was a frustration point for him when I broke him down the other night while we were watching him on ESPN versus the Brewers. This is a weird one. Fastball away, swings under it, down and away. So this is maybe a little bit of an emergency hack. Now the second time through, sees that late and kind of fires and misses it. I think Paul will figure it out in the future, but I think right now his issue is more so execution and the inconsistency of his breaking ball. I mean, his sweeper almost never has the same movement 2 times in a row. It's hard to pitch like that. Really hard to pitch like that. Anyway, command with a couple ticks down. Sometimes that's a myth. Like for me, if I try to dial back, I didn't have as good of a command as if I just let it eat. But if it's working for Cease, and I know it worked for Verlander for a stretch, then sure, why not? All right, this is a good slider. This is the one that they're telling themselves not to chase, but he's throwing so many strikes early that he has to go after that. It's also really perfect. I mean, he sells it so brilliantly right down the middle. Gorgeous slider here from Cease. And I just think his slider is so good and just so much more effective even this year just because he's throwing it a little bit less, so they see it a little bit less. All right, Bregman, first pitch, base hit. Good timing there from Bregman. Didn't wait around, got a fastball, was on time for it, even up and away. And now we got Ian Happ.
to not pitching with anybody on base. He forgot to go from the
Skeens changeup up, opposing batting average going like 100 points. Also, another point on Skeens. His arm angle has risen a touch. Because of that, the shape on 2 of his most important pitches has shifted a little bit. The fastball actually has, for some reason, even with a higher release, has less ride. So it's less flat as it enters the zone, making it a little easier to cover. Plus, we know about the velocity drop. So all of those factors make his fastball worse now. Changeup, even more so. It lost an inch of run and an inch of drop and stayed the same speed. So there's now less separation in terms of speed between his fastball and his changeup, and also less movement separation. And it's just not as nasty. So now he's got to be even more precise. So he did lose a little bit of stuff on 2 primary pitches, but it's also that now without the lack of execution, he's more vulnerable. You see how it all ties together? Anyway, this is a really good front door sinker from Cease. This is something that he didn't do prior to this season. And that's an emergency hack by Hap. Hap sees this ball in out of the hand. He's like, I can't swing at that. And then right around here, he realizes, shit, I got to swing. That's going to be a strike. And he's too late. Chops through it. But again, what has Dylan Cease leveled up? He's leveled up his strategy. He's more diverse. He's doing things that he never even tried to do before. So it's been awesome to watch. Another great inning there. All right, 5th inning. First pitch strike to Nico. Fastball away ball.
Right-hander ready. Here's the 1-1.
Sinker down.
The 2-1. Back up the middle.
Ooh, nice play by Ernie right there. And the bounce pass. Gotta like that. That was smooth as hell. This ball's hit pretty hard. This is a good approach by Nico. It's actually a good pitch by Cease, too, though. It's right on the corner. But, you know, big league defenses, they can turn sharp contact into outs often. Nice play there by Ernie Clement. All right, here is Conforto. I mean, if you're voting off of market, like if you have any bias, you shouldn't have a vote, in my opinion.
There's 26 teams ahead of them.
Yeah, I said this a few times, Boog. It's probably Cease at the moment, but it's pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close. Schlittler still has him on innings. ERA, it's virtually tied. Cease is killing him in strikeouts now. It's close. All right, backdoor fastball. And another called strike 3 looking from Cease. Now, how do we build up here? 1-1. I just want to see the sequence real quick because I missed this. Change up away, easy take.
And then the Rangers.
Change up crushable, but doesn't crush it. Then he goes in here. So I think he had Conforto's attention in, and anything away, he was going to let it go. And then he just throws a dot, you know, basically outer third, gets the strikeout looking. So I don't know whether it's Cease or Kirk, but they are really feeling it, and they know what to throw. All right, here's Dansby. Loves to ambush, go to the knuckle curve, nice pitch. Slider coming here.
Here's the 1-1.
Cease's glove presentation is so different. What makes it so successful? He just doesn't try to do too much with his upper half. He keeps it very simple. You look at Cease from the side here. Everything's tight. Like, he doesn't actually do any real extending with the glove hand. Most guys like to get some extension so then they have longer amplitude to pull it in. He just keeps it tight to his body, and then there's no timing issue with the glove tuck. He just keeps it tight, and then if you watch him, I just think he's trying not to move it at all, and that kind of keeps his direction forward. And then even on the back arm, it's very efficient as well. In the back arm, he just sort of keeps a nice, tiny little circle, which allows him to deliver his hand consistently in front over and over and over again. So to me, when you look at Cease, it's like it's not really a complicated delivery. It's more so just he's actively tried to keep it as simple as possible so he can just continue to deliver balls into the strike zone with efficiency and get his hand to where it needs to be. There's a million different ways to do it, but I like the way he does it. It's very simple. Simple's good in baseball. All right, here is Amaya in the 6th. Ball 1.
nobody else at 100 or more.
Slider strike, and here comes a sinker. It's a good pitch, location-wise, but probably the wrong pitch, as that was a good swing by Amaya. I don't think he could cover the fastball if he could cover that. I mean, the four-seam. All right, third at-bat versus PCA. This time, PCA auto swings first pitch. It's a breaking ball, rips it foul. He had let first pitch fastballs go by the first two at-bats. So slider. Four-seam. Perfect pitch. Beats him up and in. Now they're going to try to wipe him out. Slider back foot. Little too shallow. Runner moves up. And now slider called strike three. Wow. Ooh, a backdoor slider. Everything in that at-bat had been pretty close to him. And I'm telling you, man, there's something about Cease that his slider and his fastball, they look the same out of the hand because guys are making all sorts of bad decisions. And that's just another perfect pitch, dotted down and away. You can't dot it any more than that. Look at that. Perfect pitch, absolutely dominated PCA in this game. All right, one out, man, on second. Still a one-run game here. So if you're going to start chucking, this would be the moment. 98, there you go. Here comes 97. That's away 2-0. Don't want to give in here to Suzuki. He's been pretty good lately, so I don't think he does give in. He ends up going to 3-0. Up, 3-0 slider, and he swings.
On the ground, softly hit.
I think this is another example of the tunneling effect of his fastball and his slider. You're not going to swing at a 3-0 slider. You're not sitting 3-0 slider in this count, Seiya. You have the green light here. You're hunting fastball. The fact that he gets to swing off, and it's a very feeble-looking swing. I bet if we had bat speed tracking metrics on that, that would be really slow. So it has to look like a fastball out of his hand. They have to think they're swinging at a fastball. It's the only thing I can come up with. All right, man on third, 2 outs. Here's Michael Bush. Knuckle curve, slows him down, bangs it off his own foot. 97-8, probably up and in. No, they're going away. Interesting. Gets it up, though, for the foul ball. Now he's got some options. Go further up, which is what it looks like they want to do. They could go breaking ball down again. They could go for the down and away freeze. Let's see. It's another called strike three. Target is up and away. Accidental down freeze. So he didn't mean to do that, but that's a great catch by Kirky. That's in there. I think they were trying to go up away here, but he also overcooked it because he was trying to throw it hard. Happy accident. We'll take it. All right, 7th inning. Still a one-run game, right? And here is Bregman. 2-run game now. Little more breathing room. Dot down, change up away, knuckle curve. Good swing by Bregman, but he didn't quite get it. Hit it to the wrong spot. 95-2. Hit it to the wrong spot. Now he'll hit it to the right spot later and he'll get one out, but this one, that was a little bit of a dangerous pitch. Good swing by Bregman, just didn't get the result there. Still don't mind it from Cease. You're pitching with a 2-run lead. Walk is your enemy here more than anything. You got to make them earn it. All right, fouled away on a heater. Here's another one. I mean, the command's been plus for Cease today. Look at that pitch. Dotted. Great catch by Kirk. Great challenge by Kirk.
Everywhere else.
That was an interesting bit of info on the win there. Where was that? Damn, I can't get to it. It's too far back, but it looked like the wind was blowing in everywhere except to left. Anyway, 0-2. Four-seam coming, go up top. And ends up in again. Popped up in the infield. Nice play. And now this is his last batter. Most games with 10 strikeouts since 2021. Dylan Cease is your leader in that category. Not surprising, man. This guy punches tickets. He got 32 of those. Cole with 26, Wheeler 26, Gauzy 25, Snell 25. Ticket punchers. All right, slider away. Slider away. I see the question here. I'm wondering if he extended way back like a normal release if he throw it harder. Probably not. Probably not. That doesn't really mean a whole lot for velocity, like how far you're reaching back from. He just gets his arm into the throwing position at the right moment to deliver the boom. So I think his short arm stroke really works for him. I don't think he would throw any harder. He'd probably throw slower, to be honest with you, if he had more of a stretch back with that arm.
3-2.
This could definitely happen, Justin. It's awfully close right now. I actually have Cease slightly ahead. Good battle here by Nico, and then he's going to finish him off with a sweeper. So you see, I mean, he throws just enough of these alternate pitches to be effective and be able to go deep into the game and to protect the four seam and the slider. And I think that's been the biggest level up this year. They can't really come up with a great game plan against him. They try, but he's always a step ahead. And I got to give credit to Pete Walker, Alejandro Kirk, really the whole Jays organization, but also Cease. These are changes that he couldn't make before. He was probably trying to make them before, and he just couldn't make them before. But he's been great, man. So good. Ground ball rate last year of 37.3. Ground ball rate of this year of 44.4. That's another huge difference. That's keeping the ball in the yard a little bit more often. Lowering your chances for extra base hits occurring. It's just wild to me that that he's having this kind of year and the Jays are, you know, likely going to waste it. A big part of that is this, which I can't really figure out. 687 OPS for this guy. 6 homers. If he was sitting here with 20 home runs, where would the Jays be? Where would the Jays be? And this is an enigma. But unfortunately, when you get paid the big bucks and you're the guy who has to carry the offense, you're going to take a lot of the blame in this situation. So I think this is the biggest culprit of the Jays here, even beyond the injuries and stuff like that. All right. Also from this game, there was a big time comeback though, so we gotta cover that. Louis Varland in the ball game. Alex Bregman, clutch city. Here's how this inning shapes up. PCA, who had been 0 on the day, ends up having a nice at bat here versus Varland. Chases the knuckle curve first.
74 punch-outs in 57 innings.
Fastball up, dotted at 100, so down 0-2, and here comes a curve. And PCA does a great job diving and getting that, shooting that into the outfield. Great job by Straw to keep him the first base. But he is on. This was excellent plate coverage. Pretty good pitch by Varland. If he could have done it again, he would have got it more in the dirt for sure. But great swing by PCA to get it started. All right, next batter comes up, gets the 3-2. Seiya flies out. So that's the first out. Here is the second out, Michael Bush, and it's going to lead us to the Bregman at-bat. Gotta wonder here, if Louis grabs this ball, do they get a double play? Looks like he tried not to grab it. I'm not sure if he would have got it anyway, but I'm pretty sure this is the double play if he grabs it and the game's over. That's crazy, huh? Because now the shortstop had to come on that side of the bag, Jimenez, and he couldn't cover the bag anymore. I think that's a double play if he grabs it and the game's over. Unfortunately, it's not, and it leads us to the Bregman at-bat. So let's watch this. Slider, good pitch. Knuckle curve. Dirty pitch, 1 strike away. Knuckle curve again. Good take. Knuckle curve again, home run. Crazy. Just didn't get to the dirt. Bregman stayed on it. He saw 3 in a row, and he's able to put it right down the line to tie up the game. This is probably like 93 off the bat. 99.7, so I undershoot Breggy there, but 99.7 on a line. Cubs come back down to their last strike to tie this game. Crazy by Bregman. He did get 3 curveballs in a row. Here's the 3 in a row. The first one's an absolute banger, and he chases it. The second one is a little bit more in the dirt and away. Bregman holds on it. Surprised they went back to it. And honestly, the third one's not even that bad. It's just hittable. He went from unhittable to hittable, and that's always the mistake. Plus 3 in a row. Guy has timing. Hooks him down the line. But overall, great swing by Bregman to tie the game up. So that was interesting. The Cubs would love to get him going. I'll say that. All right, that happened. And then the game ended in the 11th inning. PCA starts it off. Base hit. actually get hosed at the plate. Great throw there. Jays played some great defense late in this game. I'll show the Ernie Clement play in a minute. But after an intentional walk, PCA just makes it happen right here. Goes to steal third.
There goes PCA.
Throw gets away. Ball game over. He comes home. And that's the way go. So PCA kind of creating it. Ended up having a great day despite the beginning, the 0 for 3. Where's that play, though? That sick play by Ernie Clement. Here it is. Sick play to save the game in the 10th. Ernie Clement with some hops right here. Yo! Hell of a play right there. So between that and then the throw at the plate, pretty damn good. Do we get a center field angle on this by any chance? That would be cool. Yeah, we do. That's sick. All right, watch your bottom left of your screen here. Ernie's going to come in slow motion. Get up. Oh, very nice. And a hell of a reaction by the pitcher. That was sweet. Ernie Clement, what a ball player. Watch it one more time. How many walk-off double steals have there been ever? I mean, they almost always end that way. It's like it's just a bad throw. Game over. So tough loss for the Jays. I mean, because again, they're kind of still in it numerically, but they just have had nothing good happen for them all year long. Cubs have played really good baseball as of late. We know about what PCA is doing. Curious how Bregman's been trending lately. 722 OPS on the season. He has a streak of being over 750 for a lot of years. So I'm sure he'll probably get there. He tends to find it at some point. Let me see what he's been doing in this month. This month, he's got a 766 OPS so far in August. He's got hits in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his last 6 games. Actually, more than that going back. He's got it really going here since the Cardinals series. Hits in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of his last 11 games. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Good news for the Cubs as they continue to move forward. And I like their chances a lot more with Gausman. Certainly with Clay Holmes once he gets back healthy. Peterson's been good for them. Zephyr-John, they've done some things. So I feel pretty good about the Cubbies. All right, let me hop back in the chat. That was pretty fun. MVPCA. I'm with you. He's headed towards an 11 WAR season right now. Pretty wild. I should really just put this in the description somewhere, but it's a private app. It's Dugout. It's what the players use in the Dugout. It's not available. I wish it was, though. It'd be fun. What do you want to talk about with the Mets? I mean, I guess we could watch Nolan McLean in a little while if you want. Ernie got them hops. Are the Red Sox actually a scary team? Yeah, I think so. Their pitching is so good. They got like 5 or 6 good relief options right now, plus a good starter every night, plus Crochet and Houck potentially coming back to impact. Offensively, I'm still not scared of their team, but they got mojo. They got mojo right now. They got that Brewers mojo right now. Like, if they get anybody on, they're kind of a problem. Yeah, we should go over the Sox probably next. All right, Red Sox, White Sox game last night was an absolute dandy of a game, potentially the game of the year. 12-11 Sox. How many innings did this one go? It went a lot of innings, I think it was 14 maybe, 13 or 14. 13 innings, 12-11, 16 hits for the Sox, 13 hits for the White Sox. Crazy game. Roth had a hell of a game for the White Sox. Here was the Red Sox pitching from last night. Suarez did not go well. Then it went Weissert, Slayton, Guerrero, Miller, Moran, Chapman, Whitlock, Bello. You feel good about every single one of these guys pitching right now. That is insane. That is insane. That is how good their pitching is right now. That's why they feel so good. Now, as for the lineup, still leaves something to be desired. Sogard, Rafael you love, Abreu you love, Durbin you love. Yoshida's been fine when he plays. Jahmai Jones fills a need. Monasterio's been low-key pretty good. Duran's been playing better lately. Siegler, you like the energy. I don't know if you can rely on that. And then, they're going to get Adley back in the picture soon, which is big. Last night, Connor Wong and Jake Rogers. As for the White Sox, tough day for Murakami, 0 for 6. Meidroth was the big performer there. Colson Montgomery had a lot of opportunities in extra innings and didn't come through. They pitched Castillo, Hudson, Hicks, Taylor, Brazaban, Richards, Murphy, and Fedde. They don't have as much depth as the Red Sox in the pitching. There's no doubt about it. Once they got past Brazaban, they were in trouble in this game. Richards was on fumes. 4 walks, an inning and 2/3. It's amazing he survived as long as he did. And also Murphy's been pretty good. All right, who to lock in on in this game? From a Red Sox perspective, there's two pitchers specifically I want to lock in on. Erik Miller, we actually watched him yesterday, but let's watch his outing again from last night because he was a big part of this win. We know about him. He's nasty. He's left-handed, and that's a good thing. Let's look at his breakdown from yesterday's game. Fresh from the Giants into the Red Sox bullpen, pitching in big games every night. 18 sinkers, 13 sliders, 2 four-seamers. He throws hard. He's got a really good sinker and slider. 78% first pitch strike. So let's check him out. Red Sox, White Sox. We'll watch Miller. We'll watch Miller first. We'll try to sprinkle it around. All right, comes in the 7th, 1-run game. They're chasing. Here we go. Don't forget about Story or Arias. You got to take the Red Sox just flat out seriously. You do. Can Whitlock not go multiple innings pitched anymore? He can, and I think they might use him like that down the stretch, but you got to be careful with his health. All right, so this was a particularly dominating at-bat versus Benintendi to start it off. He's at 1-1 when he goes with this slider, and this is just a classic left-on-left or right-on-right combo. You go slider away, and then you go backdoor two-seam off of that, which is what he does. This pitch felt like it was going to be away out of the hand. Instead, it's right back on the corner. Perfection, 97-7. This guy's filthy. This was a great pickup for the here and now. I still have faith in Marcelo Meyer moving forward, but for the here and now, this guy's going to help the Red Sox get where they want to get. This is 98.5 sinker. So you see, they bring him in for the lefties. Benintendi and Colson, and he destroys both of them before he goes after Joey Bart, who I believe got a fractured hand yesterday. Yeah, right here. He broke his hand right there. Damn. So that sucks. This happens all the time. He kind of ate it like a champ, but yeah, fracture right there. So another lefty. Shouldn't be a problem for Miller. He's filthy versus these lefties.
So Romo with the lead and back in safely.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that video. That was nasty. And you know this dude's nasty when Peters is trying to bunt in this situation. He wanted no part of him. Ends up popping up the bunt. So a dominant first inning. 3 outs and a broken hand. And now second inning. And then Chapman's out there using an old 1900s glove and loving life. Look at this dude.
It's a lefty too.
Versus righties, it's all for Miller. It's all going to be about how he commands inside with his sinker. You see how they're setting up, and then how he gets his slider below the plate. That's probably what will determine his success. If he leaves a lot of sliders in zone like that, occasionally those balls are going to get hit hard. Nice play by Durbin. That's been another very underrated thing about Durbin is his defense. Defense has been great. He might get the Gold Glove this year, metrically. He's on it. Yeah, it did happen to Meade. You're right.
For the moment, here comes the 1-1 home to Antonacci, and a strike.
Another nasty backdoor sinker there to Antonacci. Can't pull the trigger, and now slider. This time he doesn't get it far enough away, and that's a good swing by known pest Sam Antonacci. Here's Meidroth. Ball 1.
And a hard-throwing left-hander with a 1-0. That's a strike.
Strike. Did you play with Chappie? Yeah, we played together on the Yankees, and I was also with him with the Red Sox in spring training in 25. There's Whitlock, probably hoping he didn't pitch.
He goes to 1 away and a 3-1 pitch.
And there's the ball. So 2 on, 1 out. Another lefty matchup. Murakami. Close pitch there. Actually, it was a good take. Didn't get the call for Murakami though. 0-1. Backdoor sinker just off. Then dotted. I mean, my God, they've run into some great pitches. And now slider, you got to swing at that now. That just sucks as a hitter. He threw you 2 perfect pitches down and away, and now you have to offer at the slider. See you later. Here's Vargas. Called strike up and in. I mentioned they're going to want to get him in against these righties. Backdoor slider. Here comes 98. See the target's in. Love it. Love it, love it. And now slider back foot. And he gets him below the zone. He's got a good amount of separation and speed, too, between his fastball and slider. So he's a very, this guy's a beast. All right, let's check him out from the side. Erik Miller. Oh, no, we got a guy in the way. That's crazy. That effort was 98 right there. All right, we got to find another one. Doesn't it look like he almost slows down at the end of his delivery here? Watch him. He's got good pace, and then it almost looks like he slows down. And that's 98 essentially right there. That's a 98-mile-an-hour sinker. But, you know, Miller's just a brick shithouse. Look at the size of this dude. Nasty. Good pickup for the Sox in the here and now. You got to give Breslow credit. The man is aggressive. The man is very aggressive. We'll probably look at Durbin here in a second, but let me see what we got here in the old chat. In zone is the end point or aim point? I think it depends on what he's trying to throw. I think for his sinker, he wants to be, they want to have him on the, throwing into righties and have it end up clipping the zone. Breaking ball, most of the time they want it to start as a strike and end up not being a strike. So it just depends. Chapman has good numbers. Do you think he's actually reliable? I think he's actually kind of in a down moment of his season right now in the ebbs and flows, and his best pitching could still be ahead of him. Right now, he's a little sketchy, but I think long term, I still believe in him. He's Chapman. He'll get it together. How quickly does confidence swing in a game like this? Gut punches sides throughout. I don't know if it's so much confidence or it's just it's hard to stay this mentally locked in and have this much fight for that many hours going back and forth. And this was a devastating loss for the White Sox. Don't get it twisted for sure. What do I think of Castillo's first game? Didn't go great, but I mean, he's facing a red-hot team. So, Thoughts on the Weissert sidearm delivery. How much lower is Greg now? He's pitched in this game, so let's see. We'll find a strikeout here. Yeah, I mean, he's low, but I mean, he's always been pretty low. I like Greg. Greg is a great dude, and Greg is smart, and Greg's been trying to figure it out. And I have confidence that he'll continue to make adjustments and figure it out. He's also, he wants the ball. He's not afraid of failure. He's got a lot going for him, but he's been experimenting a lot over the last few years. A lot more changeup, a lot more four seam. He's moved around on the rubber a ton. I mean, he used to be an absolute sweeper monster, and now he's less so. That was a good changeup right there for a strikeout. Changeup's become a really good pitch for him. Really good pitch for him. So that was, let me see versus a righty so I can get a sense of his angle versus a righty. I mean, it's the same. I like Greg. He's not a closer material really, but I think he's a solid piece. Really good matchup guy. And again, you can bring him in any spot. He definitely wants the ball. Let's talk Durbin for a second. Caleb Durbin. This guy's been awesome. Crazy turnaround and not easy to do. In Boston or in New York or anywhere like that. Gets off to a tough start. You hear the noise. It's just tough. It's not easy to do. I mean, and even right now, you look at his percentile rankings, and there's some really bad numbers here. He's got a 2nd percentile average exit velo, 8th percentile barrel. But the idea from the beginning was that Fenway Park would help him with his pull-happy approach. That has turned out to be the case. See his home runs, all dead pull, lots of pull hits. And he really turned it around from a results standpoint in kind of an incredible fashion. So let's see. In April, he had a 598 OPS. In May, he had a 540 OPS. That's tough to overcome. And yet, here we go. 964 in June. 802 in July. And he's over 1,000 so far in August, including his 3-hit night from last night. I know that there's been so much discourse about him training, you know, in a different place, yada, yada, yada. Holy cow, he got 9 at-bats yesterday. That's a crazy-ass game. So anyway, let's see what his whole day was like. He strikes out the first time versus Castillo. Second at-bat, he's going to get a hit here against Castillo. Infield hit. This is a non-at-bat because there's a caught stealing here. Came off the bag. And then here's a hit off of Hicks. 99-mile-an-hour sinker. Dead pull, doesn't matter. Smashes it to left. Hustle double. He's also he's such the type of player that Red Sox fans get behind too, now that they got to know him. All right, he's gonna punch out here versus Grant Taylor. Grant Taylor's filth. Nasty. This is another one where it's a caught stealing. So he had 2 of his at-bats interrupted by caught stealings. This time he's going to get out versus Richards. Popped it up. This time he's going to walk versus Richards. It's incredible how long this game went. And then this one he's going to win the ball game. Full at-bat versus Freddy. Hold on. Sweeper painted. Sweeper again. And then sinker bangs it up the middle for the game-winning walk-off hit. The Durbinator stays through the ball. Guy's just a winning player. Does a little bit of everything out there. You gotta be impressed with the toughness of him. Gotta be. Not easy to do what he did. We've seen many people in the big markets kind of fall apart as soon as the fan base gets all over him. But he's been great. The defense has been the thing that stood out the whole year too, is just his defensive value. Four outs above average at third base, picking up. You know, Bregman was a good defender. They didn't really lose a whole lot there. And then offensively, he's been just huge, and you can tell he's a big part of the fabric of the team and the never say die element of all of that type of stuff. So, you know, we've been talking a lot of Red Sox, but Caleb Durbin deserves so much credit for his turnaround. And yeah, he's at 730 OPS and climbing. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes the last 2 months. If he can keep it up, that'll go a long way towards the Sox. Why was the White Sox outfield so deep? You know, good question there. Let me take a look at that again on the high home. I mean, center fielder is crazy deep. You're right. A single, you got to be able to make a play here. Anything over your head, forget it anyway. So I'm with you. They're a little bit too deep. Not that it probably would have mattered. You should be able to score on this. Nick Sogard's pretty fast. But yeah, he's too deep to make even. You have no chance. You have zero chance to make that play. So good call right there. Not even worth negative batting run value anymore. Yeah, I saw he just got to 100 WRC plus or something like that. Crazy. Doyle would have had a better shot, but I think if he played that deep, I don't think he gets him. I think it would have been too deep. I was on the Red Sox too, Chris. Hey, Noki, beat it, nerd. Beat it. Beat it out of my chat, loser. All right, the prospects the Yankees keep end up sucking, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of negative Nancy's in the chat today. Do you think Austin Riley's shortcomings are a trend or extended slump? Not great. I still believe in him, but not great lately. What are they going to do tonight with the bullpen? Good question, man. I'm sure they're going to have somebody. They're going to bring somebody up. They're going to bring somebody up. All right, let's watch Bello. We're sticking with the Red Sox. Bello's got the weirdest splits ever. He's been dominant in the bullpen. He's been dagging awful in the starting rotation, but he's become really valuable. And it's funny because before he's like, I'm a starting pitcher. That's the end of the story. But right now with the winning and everything, he really wants to contribute. So Bello has been pretty crazy out of the bullpen and really on a burner as of late. This is his last 5 appearances. 4 1/3, 1, 5 1/3, 0, 4 0, 3 0, 2 0, and that's it. Those were his last 4 appearances. Pretty good. Pretty good. And even before that, he had a 7-0 and a 5-0. I think those were both in relief, so kind of crazy. Hard to wrap your head around why that is. Maybe it's something about when they're able to inject them into the game, the matchup makes a little more sense or something like that. But I don't know. Anyway, here's the breakdown on Bello from yesterday, and I know he gave up a run that first inning, but we'll watch it. Where is he? Man, so many pitchers. Here he is. 9 sinkers, 8 changeups, 5 cutters, 3 fastballs, 3 sweepers. Now, he had been trying to throw that curveball early in the year, and I thought it was a good adjustment potentially, but he wasn't able to execute enough, and it ended up stinking. Also out of the bullpen in leverage, and this raises my eyebrows a little bit for something that might help them down the stretch, because I don't see Bello getting more starts this year. 97.4 average, up 2.5 miles an hour. That's a big deal. That's a big deal for a pitchability guy to all of a sudden be throwing 97. That is a big deal. So anyway, here's Bello. And I know it doesn't start off great early, but we'll watch this outing as he does have a great 13th inning, which ends up leading them to the victory. Does give up 1 here in the 12th. So 2 pitches, not even close, and then he has to go 2-0 sinker challenge right away. So 4 fundamentals to the first batter. First and third, no outs here in the 11th. Here comes Montgomery. Yeah, I know he pitched better the second inning, which is impressive too. Sometimes after you don't do good in a leverage spot, it's easy to be down on yourself and not be able to lock it in to go back. Yeah, I mean, 3-0 count. You don't want to be at 3-0 count in this spot. But let's see how he comes back and locks it in. 3-0, 3-1. And then change up here. Good pitch. Double play ball. Don't get the double play, but they do get the force out. The 1-run scores. Wait, how did the run not score before? What the freak was that? The runner didn't go home? Guess he thought maybe the pitcher would catch this. Oh, I guess they have the infield sort of in. Yeah, it's like a neutral depth. Yeah, wow, he didn't go home. That's crazy. I forgot about that. That's nutty. This will score the run, no. Antonacci. The flea. Just sprays it into left. Great swing, staying inside that ball. That scores a run. And now here's Roth. That's through the chute. Now, this was big-time pitching after that because it's bases loaded. Well, it's not bases loaded. Durant throws the runner out at the plate. This was clutch. Give Durant some credit right here. That ball eats up Monasterio bad, but Durant, direct throw to the plate. Catch and tag. Massive out right there as the White Sox were threatening to go way ahead, and that leads us to a pretty big at-bat. They do an intentional walk to get to bases loaded. That's why I remember they were being bases loaded. For Vargas. So they literally intentionally walk to get to probably their best hitter. Sinker up ball. Here comes a sweeper. That is a strike. 1-1. 2-1. Huge pitch here. Man, got away with a cutter down the middle, but I think it was a little bit of a surprise to Vargas. He comes around top. That was massive. That allowed the Jays to tie it, and then here's what he does in the 11th. I mean, in the 13th to keep this game tied and eventually win the game. Strike 1 to Benny. Here's a changeup. Infield pop-up. That's brilliant. Rogers going to catch that. And now here's Montgomery. See, he's throwing 98 right here. I remember I did a double take at the TV last night when I saw Bello throwing 98. I said, what the hell is this? Big time chase there from Montgomery. 96 going to play a lot better. 96, 97 going to play a lot better than 94, 95 at the top. Change up away, and then change up again for strikeout. Nasty. Perfect pitch there. And then he's going to finish it out versus Romo. So I don't really know. I mean, I don't see Bello getting any more starts, and I don't have a total idea of why it didn't work in the rotation. It could be fluky, but it ain't broke. Don't fix it. Keep using him in this role. Keep trusting him in leverage when you need to. His velocity tends to tick up when his outings are a little bit shorter. This has been a big time, chicken or the egg situation. This guy didn't want to go to the bullpen for a long time. He resisted it. He seemed like he was being a little bit of a malcontent or whatever. But now the team's winning. You want to be a part of it. You got the magic. You get to the point in the season where you're like, F it, let's just salvage what we got. And now he's on a little bit of a roll and he sees the light, and this is all good for the Red Sox. They have great pitching, great depth. I do think that they're probably going to pass the Yankees right now the way they're playing. They're probably going to go after the Rays, and we'll just have to see. And definitely we'll have to see how Crochet and Houck figure in when they do get back. But it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, we're going to watch something else. We just watched a ton of Red Sox stuff. I really want to key in on Freddy Peralta in a minute. But let me see what we got in here. What's going on with Nolan McLean? I don't know. I didn't watch his outing yesterday. I know he gave up 5 runs, but McLean's had one of the best ERAs in the big leagues over the last couple months, and I think he's great. Just can't be great all the time. And also, Cleveland's a little bit of an annoying team if you have a lefty problem, because they'll put a lot of lefties in there. Bello hasn't thrown that heavy in a year. He's usually around 95, 96. Exactly. So we're trending well with velocity at the right time in the right role for Bello. That's a very, very good development for him. Poor bastard never made it home. Not one sacrifice bunt and extras. They don't do it, man. They don't do it. They just don't do it. It's crazy. My Reds are coming back. Who said we are cheap and worthless? Was that you yesterday, Blueford? I still don't believe in the Reds, but I'm happy for you that you have a little more competitive baseball. Mind you, Bello pitched 35 pitches 2 nights before, and he's never done that. See, like, you're getting buy-in now. You're getting super buy-in right now. Tracy and all the rest of the guys. And I don't know, been a very interesting year for the Sox. They made the move. It did turn everything around. The pitching has been just wild. They did trade away from that depth a little bit, but they have so many guys. They seem to have a good pitcher every single night going. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Can't wait for Kevin Gausman for Cubs tonight. That's great. We looked at Painter yesterday. Didn't really see much of a change with him. A little better changeup. He's got to figure out his fastball shape, and who he wants to be from a fastball side of things. I think that's my thoughts on Painter. Volpe, probably a change of scenery candidate. Still believe in Anthony quite a bit as a big leaguer, but not as a star player right now. I think that would be a little unreasonable to think about. Rushman will be back in a few weeks. He's been throwing at catcher. Sox need a deep game from Tolley today. Does Tolley have a good amount of rest? That seems to be a big key for him. Appreciate you, Gavon Berg. Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. All right. What else was important from yesterday? I know that there's been some requests. I'm gonna kind of go outside of that for a minute and dig into Freddy Peralta for a minute. So the Mets trade Freddie P to the Rays. Most people like this trade, including myself, because it's a big upside for the Rays here. They have Rasmussen, they have McClanahan, they have Martinez, they have Matz, they have a number of guys that they like. But this is a guy who is only 1 year removed from a 17-6, 2.7 year for the Brewers. He's pitched in postseason games. Even this year, in a really down year, he's still getting some strikeouts. There's a lot of know-how in here. But it does seem like there are some things that have gone awry with Freddie that, if you're going to trust any team to fix them, the Rays are up there. Brewers, Dodgers, Rays, those teams are all up there. Yankees, Red Sox as well. But Freddie P, this is the year, 5-9, 5.37 in 23 starts. I feel like this was one of those situations that was tough. Comes to a new team, all of a sudden it's the big market Mets. Mets start horrible. Well, they didn't start horrible, but it goes down south. It goes south. Your season starts to go south right at the moment that you talk about how much money it's going to take to sign you. I feel like you should never talk about that publicly. It just seems like it's bad karma. Everything goes south from there. Anyway, let's look at Freddie P over the years. One thing I want to key you in on right away is this number right here, the extension number. Early on in Freddie's career, he was absolutely elite in this category. Look at that, 99th percentile, 98th percentile, 99th percentile, 96th percentile, 95th percentile. Then it started to dip, but this year's the real big dip. 53rd percentile in extension this year for Freddy Peralta, down from 81st percentile last year. Also, that coincides with his miles an hour being down. This is the biggest thing that is obvious to see right away, is that he's just not getting out far enough on his fastball anymore. It's also slower. So actively, it means there's more reaction time for the hitter facing Freddy Peralta's fastball. In the past, his fastball has been a very, very dominant pitch for him, sort of an outlier pitch for him. Last season, for the Brewers, same usage as this year. 9 run value, 209 batting average, 381 slug. This year, between the Mets and the Rays, negative 5 run value, 281 average, 468 slug. Whiff rate is actually sort of similar. 22.8% last year, 21.6% this year. But the bottom line is it's also quality of contact. He used to get guys more under it. I can guarantee you they're less under it now. And we actually have stats that we can maybe look at that. Bat tracking stats versus Freddy Peralta. Let's see what we got here. Load him up here, Baseball Savant. All right, we're looking for over, under, and lined up versus his fastball. All right, this is 2026. The more that you trend to the right of the midpoint, the more consistently under you are. This is 2026. I'd be curious what 2025 looks like, if it's more extreme. Yeah. It's hard to look at it on the graph. It would be better to look at it like this. All right, under percentage. 2025, interesting, about the same. 2025, 49% under. 2026, 48% under. What has changed, though, on the fastball in terms of results? Average over distance? No. I would have thought this number would have been more of a disparity, to be honest with you. But you do see it show us up a little bit in competitive rate. 93.5% competitive against his fastball this year, only 90 last year. And if you go back a couple years, it was less competitive and less competitive. So that's what I see. But I'd be curious to watch Freddie's first start with the Rays, because to me, that's the biggest factor. If they're not having to speed up as much for the fastball, it neutralizes everything else. And that's kind of the way I've been looking at it. But I could be wrong. That's why we do these investigations. No point in just saying stuff without really digging in on it. All right, let me see here. Tampa Bay 4, Colorado 0. This is not his game. This is Nick Martinez. He pitched before that. Now it also sucks because he's in Colorado, so it's hard to evaluate that. 3.2, 9 hits, 7 earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs. Player breakdown: 34 heaters, 22 changeups, 10 curves, 5 sweepers. It was on the moon though, so this is tough. Let's just see what happened results-wise and see if it was more of the same or we see any red flags. All right, first batter was McCarthy. He gonna get a hit on a fastball, 94-8.
That's unusual. Yeah, Peralta 53.
Smash to right. Next batter, changeup hit, Carrig. Base hit, but he did get weak contact, and then in-play runs here to Moniak. They get a double play, but that scores the run. And then here's a strikeout on a fastball. That's how it usually plays. He's got the double extreme angle. He goes cross body, so he's over to the right, and then he's low release height upshoot. But he's less close, but also throwing slower. So both of those make his fastball generally weaker. There's no doubt about it. But anyway, this was a good example of one when he gets it up in the zone as he beats Goodman there. All right, second inning, going to get Rumfield out with a fastball. Interesting to be on top of his four-seam. That's not a good sign for a pitcher. Good pitch there. Pops up Karros. Actually has a very clean second inning. Changeup rolled over. I want to do a mechanical look after this outing. I'm just curious here. 92.5 middle. That's Coors Field situation. How already hit that? 98.1, and it's damn near a home run, and it's probably going to be a triple. Yeah, it's a triple when it hits off that wall. So leadoff triple, that might have been a double somewhere else. It might have been an out. Yankee Stadium might have been a home run. Tovar. Another fastball that's just not scaring the hitter. Lined up the middle. Change up to McCarthy. Pulled in the corner. Another hit. All right, here's a strikeout on a curveball. Not a good pitch, though. Good result. And then in-play runs here to Moniak. 3-1 count fastball. I mean, that's just middle. And again, the fastball's just not scaring anybody at this point. Home run. And that's really what crushed him right there. 3-run home run. There's my guy, Vinny Castilla. Oh, this is a Coors Field hit. You want to know what a Coors Field hit is? This is a Coors Field hit. A weak-ass blooper that's a double, basically. Insane. All right, run field here. Good pitch there. They're not going to get two, though. Oh, they do. Wow. Nice turn. Walls is nasty at short. So is Carson Williams. There's a walk. In-play runs here. Another fastball, and this one's up, and it still doesn't matter. All over it. The fastball is just not playing. It's just not playing at all. In this location before, Freddie was getting a fly out or a miss. Instead, it's friggin' ding-dong. Willie Castro. Crazy. Strikeout of Beck here with a sweeper. Tovar ground out. And then his last batter here is McCarthy. McCarthy goes 3 for 3. Got to hit off everything, I think. Fastball, changeup, and curveball. Bad data right there. Little looper. All right, let's do a little bit of a mechanical look at Freddy Peralta. Let me look at his first pitch of the game from the side here. I'm going to take a picture of that right there, because that's kind of the stride. And then this is him at release. All right, now let's go back in time to early last season, and let's just find a Brewers game with Peralta on the mound. You got to figure he's probably faced the Cubs. So we'll go back a year. I don't want to go late in the year. I want to go kind of early. So we'll go 504, Freddy Peralta. And we'll try to find him from the side. So this is Freddie P last year. There's the stride. And remind you, he had already been losing extension last year, but he really lost it a lot this year. And then there's the release. All right, let's go look at the photos and see what we see. I would like to rearrange these, to be honest with you. That's so stupid. All right, here's the first stride. There's the second stride. I mean, to me, the older stride looks a bit longer. Like the back leg just doesn't look like it's as extended here versus here, where it looks like he's really reaching. Also, it looks like he's got a little bit more of a pectoral stretch going here too, so a little bit more separation, which could have something to do with the velo as well. And then here's that release. This is release this year. This is release that year. You can see the torso is more over the leg. The angle between his torso and his leg is a little bit more acute. And last night, it's just slight. It's small, but it's definitely there. And to me, this is the biggest thing. It's just something's a little bit off about his delivery and the amount of extension he's getting. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. Anyway, that's my Freddy Peralta diagnosis. Freddy Peralta diagnosis right there. Do I think the Rays can fix him? I give them a lot of credit in general, so maybe. But, you know, you get a little bit older, you get a little bit tighter. Things don't stretch out as well. I don't know what his training decisions were last year. I don't know what his goals were with moving his pitches around. All of those different things could lead to your mechanics shifting. But it's very odd, and we talked about it with Skeens before, it's very odd for everything to stay the same for a pitcher forever. You're always drifting in one direction or another, and that's why self-checking, you know, making adjustments as you go is such an important skill and art to master. But it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back with the Rays. And they're going to need him. They're going to need him. This is also quite true. This is also quite true. Thoughts of the effect of the Mets losing Hefner? It's hard to say because I don't know what the new guy's like or anything, but I just know Hef was a good pitching coach, got kind of a raw deal, but he had been there a long time. I think he's happy in Atlanta. But, you know, pitching coaching's tough. A lot of it is kind of being a therapist, and I thought Hef was pretty good at that. Angle of front leg, very different. That's what I saw too. I still remember Freddy's fastball debut at Colorado. I mean, that's a long time ago, but he had an electric heater in his debut up in the zone, and nobody could touch it. Nobody could touch it. It was crazy. No gambling, none of that. That's not my stuff. What are your thoughts on Fried's next start against the Braves? Obviously, pitching against his old team, but, you know, for me, Max is amazing. So I'm very curious to watch him attack that lineup. Why are the Mets good now? They're not. They're not. It's just a couple days. Don't get too excited. Don't get your hopes up here. You know, Chad Patrick's another guy who's done a great job. This is a good comment here by great screen name, by the way. Since moving to the bullpen, his velocity's up. So he's another intriguing piece for the Brewers down the stretch. Do you think the Mets, after trading some guys, will benefit our team? It should be if they hit on these prospects. But you go ahead and look at the haul that they got for JV and Max Scherzer a couple years ago, and they didn't really hit on any of those guys. So it can be a crapshoot, and it's big stakes. You can get a controllable superstar. I mean, shit, you dominated the trade. If you get a bunch of guys that don't contribute, you lost the trade. Hard to say. Hard to say. Do you think the Dodgers can get out of this slump against Arizona? Probably, but Arizona's been playing pretty well. I just don't think the Dodgers stay down for long, but we'll see. But we will see. Freddie seems to have a hip issue. That could be part of it, no doubt about it. Chris Sale and Garrett Cole tomorrow on opening day, on Old Timers Day. That's fire. Those are two of my guys, too. So that'll be a great matchup. Some OGs, some potential Hall of Famers going at it. I'll be there. I'll be vlogging. The new vlog, episode 2, should be coming out any day now, a day or two away. I've already half scored it, so I'm pretty close to getting it done. Getting it done. Should be good. Fun one. And then we're going to vlog tomorrow's whole day tomorrow, which should be great. Have I spoken with Benetti, Jason Benetti, about the loss of Scooble? Is he still grieving? I think he was mentally prepared for it. But I think it's a little bit of a bummer, you know. Of course, when you're doing the games, you want to be able to broadcast the best, so it's pretty cool. Troy Melton versus Logan Webb, that's great. That's really great. What could help Freddie to get that extension or any pitcher in general? I guess the first thing you would look at is his landing angle, and if maybe he's gone astray with his landing angle, try to get him back in the same spot. And then the second thing you do is you just sort of like spread yourself out and you really practice those rocker drills and just getting your hand out front. Of course, you want to rotate, but if I'm him, I'm actually over-exaggerating, getting my chest and my hand square to catcher and getting out front. And you can also achieve this by doing pull downs. That's another way of doing it. So on the way out, when you're long tossing, you're kind of letting the ball go early and putting a lot of air under it. But on the way in, you get that crow hop and you tell yourself you want to throw a one hop bounce to the catcher from a long distance that over exaggerates that getting out front feeling. Because all you're looking for is a little bit of a feel. And so there's a bunch of ways to go about it, but that's something they could maybe do. But if he has a legitimate restriction in his hips, then that's a little different. Now the department has to get their head around it in terms of PT, what to do in the weight room, daily maintenance stuff. and how to maybe lengthen that joint up to be a little more comfortable in the landing position. So that's why it's important to have everybody's brain involved. But like I just threw out there, there's like 5 different things you could potentially do. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. When did you learn to edit video? Actually, started editing video in high school. I used the original iMovie. So I went to a private high school. I went to public school before high school. I went to this private high school that was sick, Berkeley Carroll, and they had really good arts, and we had a whole video lab, and I was like the only guy using it. And at the time, you could take regular analog tapes and convert them to digital and use their iMac computers in the computer lab to do videos. So at the time, I was rollerblading a lot. I've touched on that in my last vlog, rollerblading, skateboarding, BMX, all that. And we were making skate videos. And I was the filmer a lot. I loved the creativity of it. And I was editing at school because they had the converter. So that's when I learned to edit. And then I took 20 years off. And now I'm editing again, trying to learn how to do it again. But it's been fun. It's fun to kind of see something in your mind's eye and try to be creative with it. For me, creativity is like what gets me out of bed every day, which is crazy to say, because I played sports, but that's how I feel. And pitching was that way too. What do I think about the Cubs run lately? I feel great about the Cubs, man. I'm curious to watch Gosman and really how their pitchers do, but good deadline for them. What do you think about pitchers using less fastball percentage, because that tends to be the most hard hit percentage? I mean, it's a very basic strategy. I mean, for me, I needed my slider to be my lead pitch and have my highest percentage. Just because in a bubble, it's the hardest pitch for them to square up. They would have done better against my fastball had I allowed them to stay on fastball timing all the time by throwing a lot of fastballs. By slowing them down, it made my fastball better. So this is a very common strategy. You know, you look at even Edwin Diaz, I've mentioned it before, in his best season, 2022, he actually threw like 56% slider. So very common. You have to have a pretty damn special fastball to throw it over 50% in the big leagues and dominate. Did David Peterson change something from last year to this year? Not really. I just think he threw so much last year, and then he struggled with his batted balls early in the year. He wasn't controlling things well. He was letting things snowball. He's doing a better job of controlling that stuff now. Peterson's not going to be a wipeout dominating pitcher, but he is the type of pitcher that can give you length and throw some truly great games when he gets the contact working in his direction. Is this the Springfield Cardinals legend, Adam Ottavino? Well, if you're thinking about me as Springfield Cardinal, you will likely have a very bad opinion of me, because I was horrible in Springfield. I gave up so many bombs, and I wanted to get out of there so bad, but appreciate you. I'm just still looking here. Love that story at the end of the Angels game when you were speaking that with that lady whose son had been drafted. Yeah, that was crazy. That was Julie Robertson. Her son, Daniel Robertson, played against the Rays. I faced him. I looked it up. I walked him. He was a big first-round pick. So, no, I'm very intrigued when I get to meet people like that. It's cool to hear their stories and the behind-the-scenes stuff, and I try to bring that to the vlog, because it's amazing how often the baseball world is a small place. I see you guys continuing to ask about Peterson. I do think he was tired. I think he just got off to a bad start. I also think there was conflict with him and Mendoza early on, and I think it just wasn't very ceremonious and not harmonious, I should say. And then, you know, he never got treated with respect by the Mets that much. One thing, it seems like a small thing, but this is something that always bothered me. They always kept Peterson in the rookie row of the lockers. I'm like, dude, this guy's been here forever. Like, give him a big veteran spot in the locker, give him an extra locker, treat this guy with respect. And I think eventually they did, but it never felt like he was particularly valued by Stearns. And I feel like a lot of that's because he doesn't have a lot of whiff rate. And Stearns is a big stuff plus guy. Peterson's not going to rank high on that. So I just don't think it was a great fit. And now he's in a place with a great defense playing behind him, and that's the biggest key. Elite defense behind Peterson means a very serviceable pitcher. All right, we'll keep moving. How many career hits did you have in your career? 2. 1 left-handed, 1 right-handed. Let's go. People have been asking me about Tejay Antone. That's like 4 times, so it's making me want to look at him. I don't have much time left, but I'll take a quick look at Tejay Antone. The triple Tommy John man. This man wrote a book. I don't know what it's called. I might look it up in a second, but I got to give him credit. A lot of perseverance to come back from triple Tommy Johns and still be pretty good. Look at that, 36 games. .94 whip, 2.25 ERA. Who says you need to pitch a lot to be good? This guy barely pitched at all because he was so hurt. 5 games in 23, 4 games in 24, no games in 25. I mentioned it a bunch of times. The man is they used to call him Captain Hook because he's got great breaking stuff. Triple Tommy John. Fucking brutal. What a brutal sport this can be sometimes. Anyway, he's looking great. 53% sweeper. Man after my heart. And that's the run value. 8 run value on the sweeper. 125 average, 188 slugging, almost a over a 30% whiff rate. This has been a hell of a pitch, this sweeper. What's the movement on it? So it's 3.3 and 14.1, but 84. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I feel like this guy has a very just mature way of looking at stuff. Tejay Antone book. It is called The Tommy John Protocol. How to rebuild your arm, your mind, your faith. So there might be some God stuff involved in here if you're interested in that. But he literally wrote the book on Tommy John. Here's what he says about it. I've already written out the part where I actually make the team out of spring training. If I have to go back and change the story a little bit, that's fine. It was fun to write that out and see if how I wanted it to play out. That third injury put me on the brink of wanting to retire, not really wanting to play anymore. A lot of kids reach out to me on Instagram that just had Tommy John surgery. Do you have any advice or support? There's just so much I want to share with them. That's kind of what pushed me to start answering the questions that I get. Philosophies, theories, tips, tricks, things that I've done. What I always tell kids, and I even have to tell myself sometimes, trust is not a light switch. Trust is like a dimmer switch. Trust is gained by doing it over and over again and having success with it. And you gain a little bit of confidence every single time you do it successfully. I'm at the point now where I fully trust it. I'm not thinking about my arm. I'm thinking about how do I execute this pitch? Where am I trying to execute this pitch? That's what you want to be thinking about. Everything that I should be thinking about that's external, which is a really good spot to be in. So, I mean, every pitcher gets to this point, but this guy had to suffer to get to this point. So really, really good, very inspiring story. This is also just being where he's at. This is a good line too. Of course, I want to be in the big leagues, but it's also trusting that God is going to put me exactly where I need to be. If that's AAA, I have to trust that. Maybe that's the locker room and situation I need to be in order to influence someone. I have to trust that's where I am in my life. I'm trying to just not worry about where I end up, but the competitive me obviously wants to be in the big leagues. All right, this is a little bit of a good window into the mental game of a pitcher and setbacks and all that type of stuff. At a certain point in your career, you can't chase results. You have to be where you are. So I'm happy that we're watching him. Let's go pick up a game where he's pitched pretty well recently, and we'll watch him do his thing. Unfortunately, the most recent game with 2 strikeouts, he gave up a run. So I'll just go ahead and target this one. Reds Guardians from the 28th. Also, by all accounts, really good dude, as you can probably tell. So this was the 28th. He pitched in this one. 25 pitches, 2 strikeouts. I'll just fast forward to the 2 strikeout at-bats. Here's the first one versus Jose Ramirez, and he's got great breaking shit. So curveball strike. The only other pitchers to come back a third time are Johnny Venters and Jason Isringhausen. Yeah, and Venters didn't really do much after all the surgeries, but Izzy did. Izzy had a 4th one, I think, on the way out, which is crazy. But yeah, triple Tommy John, that's tough. That's tough. There's that sweeper, pulled foul. Still throws 95-5 with a triple Tommy John elbow. I mean, it's amazing what the surgeries can do now. And then a nasty sweeper. We've talked about everything that he's got going this year. It's really coming off of the sweeper. This is a back foot sweeper to Jose Ramirez, a guy who wants to pull. A lot of times, if you make a mistake here, this is going to be a problem. But this is an above-average pitch, negative 13.5 inches of vert at 83.6, 2,900 RPM on it. Nasty. And then here's the other strikeout. This is DeLauder. You would think he'd be a righty specialist dominator, but in this outing that we're cherry-picking, he punches out 2 lefties. Sweeper backdoor. Sweeper backdoor miss. Sweeper sword. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Throw more sweepers. Another sweeper. 5 in a row. And now curveball. I like curveball off of sweeper sometimes. Good try. I mean, he's dying for a fastball, but he sticks with the sweeper and gets another swing and miss. Same location as he got it to Jose Ramirez. Strike, 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 and then it just slides inside your barrel. Nasty pitch. So yeah, we are talking Tejay Antone. A couple people asked me about him. I figured, yeah, why not? Let's give him a spotlight. He's done a great job for the Reds, and the Reds are trying to hang in there. We talked about it before. They are, how many out now in the National League wild card? They just passed the Pirates. Yeah, they are 4 out of the wild card, won 7 out of their last 10, including 4 in a row. So I don't take the Reds very seriously, just like it's kind of the way I feel about the Twins on the other side. But you never know. They are facing a very similar record team this time in Washington. So we'll see if they can keep it going. But yeah, Tejay Antone, he's been fun. It's been fun to watch. Tommy John and Dr. Job should be in the Hall of Fame together just for that contribution to the game alone. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. With multiple TJs, how do the tears stack? Are they the same place in the ligament at different parts? And do you know how they repair a previously repaired ligament? So there's a lot of questions here that are tough. I'll tell you what I don't know the answers to all this, but I'll tell you what I do know. Every injury is different. So, like, for example, in my Tommy John, I only had it one time. My ligament didn't, like, explode. It kind of just, like, wore out on the posterior side and kind of let go, but it never really, like, wore out. So that ligament's still there. When they took the palmaris out of my wrist and then turned that into a new ligament and tied it in through my bones, they wrapped it around the old one. So I kind of have a thicker monster thing in there. And that's my specific situation. Sometimes the ligament's completely gone and destroyed and the new one is the new one. Sometimes you tear it in the front. Sometimes you tear it in the back. Sometimes you tear it in the middle. All different sizes, different trauma, different experiences. So they're not all created equal. Also, the surgeries are not all created equal. You have the old school surgery, which was the one I got from Dr. Andrews, where they drill a lot of holes. The newer procedures, the docking procedures, Dr. Alchek, rest in peace, was doing that. I don't know what Meister does, but I think Elatrosh does the docking procedure. It's less drilling in theory, less healing has to take place in your bones and some stuff like that. And now they also do the internal brace, where they add in a little bit of a brace, basically, that helps it take on force, which is, to me, is almost sort of like cheating, but very cool surgery that's helped a lot of guys come back faster and for longer. So TJ's had all of that different stuff done. I will tell you, the more surgeries you have, the bigger concern is not so much all the ligaments that's in there and the, the shrapnel. It's more so the bones. Like you can't drill into the bones too much and make those, like, continually stress those new tunnels that are made. So that's the biggest issue, is the re-drilling into the bones and hoping that the bones heal. And there's all sorts of calcification and all sorts of different things that your body does to take care of it. But the bottom line is all the injuries are a little bit different, but the more surgeries they have, the more sketchy and harder they typically are statistically to come back from. And it's impressive that TJ was able to come back from 3 of them. He must have done a lot of things right with this last rehab. So whoever rehabbed him as well gets a lot of credit, because that's a day in, day out job that requires a lot of feel and know-how, and also has to be a therapist. Like Scotty Murayama was the one who rehabbed me with the Rockies. I mean, we're brothers for life. He basically brought me back to life as a baseball player. So it's not just the surgeon, it's not just the player, it's also the guy taking them through rehab and, everybody else involved, family members, support, all that type of stuff. So good for these guys that came back, especially Tejay Antone. Got some more Tommy John questions in here. TJ is the prime example of when stuff metrics are valued over everything, especially health. Yes, that's also a good point. He would have never gotten any more chances if he didn't have an above average breaking ball. TJ3 is really changing the way of how quickly people can come back. I had Tommy John originally a bone chip on my elbow with the UCL, a part of the ship eventually snapped. You see that quite a bit. Schoolball had the nanoscope. Nanoscope is a less invasive way to clean up the bone chipping and stuff like that. Seems to be the wave of the future, because this guy came back really good. So we'll see how that continues to progress. Can you explain thoracic outlet? Thoracic outlet is it's kind of in here. You get compressed over time from being an overhead thrower. You see it a lot with guys who are a little higher. And you basically compress an artery in there, and it basically turns off all blood flow to your arm or the nerve, one of the two. There's 2 different things that can happen there. And it basically, you lose feeling in your hand gets cold, you don't get circulation, now you have no feel. It's a very weird process. You're trying to throw, but you have none of that proprioception feel in your hand anymore. And that's the thing that makes you not able to pitch. So what they do is they remove that rib to alleviate that pressure and that compression, and hopefully that works. Some surgeries are worse than others. Some injuries, some levels of compression are worse than others. I mentioned nerve versus artery. Those are all things that it's nuanced there, but not a good injury. Do not want this injury. At all times when you're a kid, you should always be working to keep this open and free as much as possible. You do not want that compression. That shit can end you. Tried to do the surgery, didn't work, lost mobility, had second Tommy John, was able to pitch in 10 months. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, every single journey is different with that stuff. Rehab during COVID. Shout out, I mean, yeah, big shout out there. I agree. Speaking of guys who actually came back from injury, let's watch Acuna homer last night. Sure, he got 2 home runs. We'll finish up with Ronald. And the suddenly way out ahead Braves. Suddenly way out ahead Braves. How has Ronald been lately? These are his numbers on the year. We all know what he can do. He's one of the superstars of this game. He definitely has had his ups and downs throughout the years. I mean, check out the last 3 years. 716 OPS and an injury, ACL injury, then 935 OPS, and then 794 OPS this year. But you expect 900 out of him. He's 900 for his career. You know, he even won the MVP, I believe, in 23 with even better year than that. Anyway, here's the year so far. And only 279 plate appearances, 244, 358, 436, 794 OPS, 11 home runs, 15 bags. So he looks healthy. Defense has been really bad, but I feel like sometimes with him, that's just being straight up lazy. Sprint speed, he plays slower now, but he's still got the burner in him. That's been interesting to watch. Just the way he plays. Look at the sprint speed. I mean, he was 97th percentile. Now he's 43rd percentile. I think he's playing slower on purpose, but maybe he's protecting himself a little bit. Maybe this is not great. I don't know. Bat speed, still good. All the other metrics are basically in range of everything else. So anyway, he had a 2-homer game last night. Mr. Acuna, we faced off against each other a lot. Even though I got him out a lot, not a comfortable guy to face. Never want him on base, so you want to challenge him, but then he's a tough guy to challenge because he can really hit. So tough. He's tough. He's tough to face. I'll say that, and he stays on the heater a lot. So what was his day yesterday? 2 for 5 with the 2 home runs versus the Marlinos. All right, Marlins, Braves. And there he is, Ronald Acuna Jr., 2 home runs. Let's watch them both. Well, first let's watch him get out versus Junk the first at-bat to see how that plays in. Tried to ambush the first pitch of the game, came in a little bit late. Feels like he should have homered on that pitch, but didn't get it. So Junk's feeling great. He got him out on 1 pitch to start the game, and that leads into this second at-bat. Another first pitch fastball coming here. That's a ball. That's a ball. And now it's a 2-0 challenge situation, and it's going to be a sweeper, and he's going to go kaboom. Yeah. Just a get-me-over sweeper, middle down. Didn't even hit it that good, in my opinion, but that is going to, get knocked over the wall by the outfielders. 103.8 at 35. You gotta be freaking kidding me with that. Look at this. Oh, poor Marlins. So he hit it hard enough to get a home run. I thought it was a little bit high. That's why I thought he was a little off. 103.8 at 35. But gets rewarded by the alley-oop over the wall, Jose Canseco style, from these 2 outfielders. Ruiz and Hernandez. Holy cow, what a weird play, but it is a home run. It does count. And look at him, he doesn't know what to make of it. There's my guy Tony Diaz in the back. This guy's a good dude right here, my guy. Telling him, oh, you could go, you can go, you can run. That's a home run. Anyway, let's watch the swing from the side. Pretty good swing on the slider. Stays back, smacks it out. That's the first home run. All right, second home run's going to come later off Gibson. First pitch, sinker, get ambushed. Ooh, Oppo Taco. It's the other thing you got to love about Ronald. He can go out to any part of the ballpark. Atlanta's a great place to hit. It's only 97.3 to right, but it is a home run. So 2 home run day for Acuna. If they can get him white hot, they won't get caught by the Phillies. But we'll see. He hasn't gotten white hot yet. What are his numbers looking like this season? Where's my thing? What are his numbers looking like this season in terms of Game logs. All right. So first month he had a 764 OPS. Second month 1000 OPS. Then he got hurt. and he produced a 601 OPS in June, 516 in July, and then now in August he's come out playing pretty well. He's got hits in 3 out of the 5 games, multi-hits in 2 of them. And he scored runs in all of them. And he's got 1,000 OPS in this sample. So if they can get him white hot, that'll really, really help. Riley's the other one who they've been looking to get going as well. I worry about their pitching still, but they have a big enough cushion right now where I think they should be able to hold off the Phillies if some of their offense comes around. Here's Austin Riley just having a perplexing season. 658 OPS, only 13 home runs, 221 average, 296 on base. I mean, he's under 300 on base. Are there any signs recently of him playing better? He's got 1,000 OPS as well in August. 690. Looks like he's trended better since the end of the month. Hits in a couple of the games, couple pumps. I don't know what's going on with Austin Riley. I always felt like he was a great hitter, but this has been a very weird stretch of baseball. Even last 2 years were underwhelming for his standard. He's still an 807 career OPS despite being under that mark 3 years in a row and way under the mark this year. But that'll be a big deal. That'll be a big deal. Don't worry, Austin Riley will somehow come alive versus the Yankees. Book it. Wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. All right, so we didn't watch that much. We spent a lot of time on the Red Sox players today. But it was a good stream overall. Pretty fun. Definitely took some looks around, got good turnout, and I really appreciate you guys. Let's answer a few more questions. I got about 5 more minutes here. What is the best hitting ballpark? Coors Field. Yikes. What is one underrated stat for a hitter and a pitcher that you think makes a big difference in the game? For a pitcher, I would say it's either it's basic shit like first pitch strike or race to 2 strikes. Do you get to 2 strikes faster than 2 balls the majority of the time? For a hitter, I think it's 3-2 count behavior. 3-2 count behavior. 3-2 count is such a critical count. And honestly, if more batters swung less, they would get a lot of benefit in a 3-2 count. They would walk a ton and it would boost their numbers. So to me, that's an underrated thing to think about is 3-2. 3-2 count. Can the Red Sox come back? We watched Bello last night. The big thing is the velo is a lot better and his attitude seems a lot better. And he's not trying to throw that curveball anymore. So it's pretty cool. I had a frozen shoulder where the bursa in the shoulder gets so inflamed it's become too big for its home. Had to get a cortisone. It sucks getting injection until it pops. Yeah, injections suck, although cortisone's a little bit of a miracle at times. I feel like Zach Wheeler is the first successful comeback from thoracic outlet. There's been a couple, not a ton, but he didn't have the bad kind. He had the less of the two, whichever one that is. Do you think the faster recovery from the internal brace is bringing back players before they're ready? I'm thinking of Strider. You know, I don't have a great feel for that because I didn't have the internal brace. But there's a lot of pressure to come back once you look good in the controlled environment. And I think sometimes what teams don't really understand is there's a huge difference from pitching in the major leagues to pitching in a minor league rehab assignment. So be careful. Tread lightly. Male throws for them today. What do you make of that acquisition? I'm pretty underwhelmed by them getting Tyler Male. They needed another warm body in the rotation. But, you know, this is a guy that's a little light on stuff at the moment. For most of his career, he's been a fly ball pitcher. I know he's got some ground ball tendencies this year, which sketches me out in that ballpark. At times, he's gotten away with it. I mean, even last year, he had a 2.18 ERA with suboptimal stuff. So we'll see. I think he'll be useful for them to get to the finish line, but I'd be surprised if you saw Male pitching for them in the postseason. I'd be surprised with that. Still can't believe the Braves didn't get a pitcher. I mean, totally. Them and the D-backs. I mean, I know they got Male. I think the Braves were all in on the DeGrom situation, and it would have been nice if they would have gone a little harder for somebody else. But who that person is in particular, I'm not sure, because I didn't love a lot of the guys that were moving at the deadline. Like, I'm not in love with Robbie Ray this year, for example. And I know they're not going to trade with the Mets. Like, they're not going to get Clay Holmes, who I do like. So who were they going to get? Who was the guy that they wanted to get? I'm just not sure. Jose Soriano would have been a brave move, but instead the Blue Jays made that move. I loved my time as a Met. Yes. Which stadium has the best treatment and stuff during away games? Yankee Stadium's got the best road clubhouse in the game, but there's a lot of good ones. San Francisco's good. Milwaukee's good. Cubs is good. Padres has become really good. There's a lot of good ones. Mize or Gosman? I mean, I'm more on the Gosman side of things. I like what Mize has done, but I got more faith in Gosman. What do you think of a rise to Phillies? Great fit offensively. Weird how they had to configure everything defensively, but probably worth it anyway because he's what they needed offensively. Evaldi's really great, but I don't think he was waiving his no-trade clause either. I think Evaldi and Jake wanted to stay. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. 2 hours again today on the stream. I will see you guys again on Monday. I'm going to finish out that vlog editing and try to get it out tomorrow or the next day. Yankees Old Timers Day tomorrow. This is actually a good idea. Ask AA tomorrow. I mean, I'll try to talk to as many people as I can tomorrow. I know a ton of people with the Braves. Obviously, my Yankees people. I'll try to talk to a lot of them. See what info I can get and just try to have a good time. But should be great. Appreciate everybody's support on the stream this week. We've had a good week. I'll definitely be back on Monday with more streams. I was thinking about doing a debut video on Saturday because the Cardinals have a big debut on Saturday coming up, correct? Quinn Matthews, did he already pitch? Did he already pitch? He did pitch, so I missed this debut. Damn. 5 innings, 3 strikeouts. I thought he pitched, so he pitched against the Blue Jays on the 1st. That was a while back. Was that a Saturday? I knew he was going to pitch. That was a Saturday. I got it wrong by a whole week. Now I'm curious about how this guy looked, because this guy was a strikeout phenom at one point, but can't throw strikes either. Anyway, that's a whole... I say all that to say I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, Monday, another stream. Look, be on the lookout for the vlog, and everybody enjoy their weekend. All right, here are... Yeah, I'm going on MLB Now in about 10 minutes. All right, here is the matchups for today. Zach Thornton, Carmen Majinski of the Pirates. Can the Mets keep it rolling? They've been playing good. Pirates need these wins. Jays, Phillies, Soriano, Wheeler. Soriano making his Blue Jay debut. Facing the Phillies. Tough lineup with the lefties he's going to face. And then Zach Wheeler on the other side. Reds, Nats, Chase Petty back in the rotation, and Cade Cavalli. Braves, Yankees, Male versus Fried. Love Fried going up against his old team. A's, Sox, Perkins, who's been pretty decent, and then Tolley. They need some length out of Tolley today. Angels, Marlins, Klassen, and Phillips. Guardians, White Sox, Messick, who's been great, and Schultz. Twins, Brewers, Matthews, and Drowan. Cubbies, Royals, TBA, which I think is Gosman, right? And Lynch, who's getting a chance in the rotation. Rockies, Cardinals, Feltner, and Leahy, who I think has been really good this year and very impressive down the stretch. Orioles, Rangers, Boz, and the aforementioned Nasty Nate. Dodgers, D-backs, Roki, who I'm sure we'll be watching at some point on Monday since he's been so fascinating, and Merrill Kelly. Astros, Padres, it's Ronel Blanco, Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray making his first game for the Padres. Rays, Mariners, Rasmussen, and Gilbert. This is a sneaky great matchup. And then the last one's Tigers at Giants. Kiter Montero, who's been good. And TBA for the Giants, who I don't even know who's on their team anymore outside of their expensive guys. So that's it for the stream. Appreciate you guys. I will not forget to drink the water. Thank you so much for hanging with me today. And I will catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Peace out. Catch me on MLB Now in about 10 minutes. All right. See you later.